Hey there, folks. Good morning. How you doing? So we're all going through an interesting time, a stressful time, a time that can really cause great frustration all up and down our economy, our politicians, and the like. So what I thought I would do is take a shot at delivering a Sunday night address that I would hope would come from the President of the United States. Now, this is one guy's opinion after not being able to sleep. I'm sure he has tremendous speech writers and the like. I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot of things because a message like this needs to be delivered on Sunday night before the weekend is over. Because I think next week, if the message is lost, could be really scary. So let me take an attempt. I've got 2 pages of notes and kind of walk through what I hope would be in a presidential address this Sunday evening. All right, here goes nothing. Hello, Americans. How are you today? I want to speak to you from the Oval Office because I want to both thank and apologize to you. First, I want to thank you for all you have done, all you are doing, and all you will do to get through this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. Especially, I want us all to give a shout out to the people that are going above and beyond to hold the American economy together, to take care of the sick, the nurses, the doctors, everyone involved in our healthcare system. But let's not forget the people that are keeping our food supply chain going, the supermarkets, the clerks, the stock boys, the delivery folks, all the first responders who are out there doing what they can, all the smartest scientists out there looking for both a vaccine and treatment. Again, I am missing so many folks, but please know that every American thanks you for what you've done, what you are doing, and what you will do to get us all through this. Next, I do have to apologize. This thing that we are all dealing with is not of our creation. It is causing extreme stress, extreme job loss, and extreme uncertainty. You and I didn't cause this, but you and I are dealing with it. For that, I apologize. But let's be clear, there are some pretty hard truths that we just must recognize. Given all the data available from around the world, there are only 2 things that we can do, and we're going to do them both. Specifically, we need to flatten the curve. It is evident now that when a country doesn't do that, their healthcare system is quickly overrun, and people are forced to make decisions that no one has to make: who to save and who to let die. That is not a question that I hope anyone has to make in the US. Excuse me. Next, it has also become painfully clear that we must test, and again, test. It is fair to say that maybe we were not ready for just the sheer volume that was required day one. We can't undo that, but what we can do is we can overcome it by testing and testing and testing. We had originally planned 1 million tests with 5 million coming. We're now quadrupling that. We will have more tests. We will retest. We will do everything we can to find out where this thing is, quarantine where appropriate, and help the people that need it. By flattening the curve and finding where it's at, we will get back to work. We will save Americans' lives, and our economy will be back to rocking and rolling as it was in December and January. But the reason I wanted to deliver this address on Sunday is because, unfortunately, again, through no fault of your own, we are about to have a week of very scary numbers. First and foremost, our testing is ramping, and you are going to see some artificially skewed numbers because the virus is here. It has been here unchecked for too long. Now we are going to take these tests and you are going to see huge growth in the number of folks infected. You've already seen many athletes, many folks in Congress, many actors saying that they're infected. This is everywhere. It does not discriminate. And you're going to see some very large numbers. Probably more importantly to each and every one of you that is listening, there is going to be a huge economic impact. Without a doubt, it is very clear we are going to have an unemployment number, a new claims number this Thursday that no one wants, that we have never seen, and is frankly unacceptable. We are going to have millions of people report new unemployment claims. And for that, I'm sorry. We have had to shut down a large part of our service economy to try to take this on, as I highlighted earlier. Next, it is also very clear, and we saw this in China first, when you try to flatten the curve, you keep people inside, there is a huge impact to GDP. It's going to happen here. It would not surprise me if some of these economic models are not proven too conservative, because we could very easily see a 30% fall in GDP in the first half of 2020. Again, I want to remind you that these numbers are scary, but we will get through this, and I will talk about that in a minute. Again, this week is going to be scary, but we are getting through this. And if you're, as that country song goes, if you're going to go through hell, just keep on going. It is also without a doubt that consumer sentiment is going to get very, very negative. Again, we are asking people to stay home. We are scaring people daily. So this is bound to happen. And lastly, Wall Street, the one that gets talked about the most. It had a 4,000 point drop the other day or last week. I'm not here to pick stocks, but given the numbers that are coming, it is not out of the realm that stocks will have more volatile weeks ahead. But now, let's talk about what we are doing to reduce the stress. Because again, while this week is going to be scary, I am here to tell you that the entire federal government is here looking at everything we can do to make it easier for you to stay home. You must stay home. It is something we have never asked you to do before. But in order for us to tackle this thing, we've got to be in it together. First, we are going to bolster the unemployment fund. As I said earlier, we have had unemployment claims like we've never seen before. We will likely have this going for next several weeks. Everybody that files is going to get unemployment on steroids. We are raising the limits. We are going to make sure you get it. We are going to lower the requirements because nobody can look for jobs. You are going to get some money. Next, not only are the unemployed going to get their unemployment benefits that they can have, right? They're allowed to have. But we are also going to open up the unemployment ranks to 1099, the gig economy, all the folks that may have been skipped or missed or not treated fairly in the old system. This is a rare moment in time where we are going to open our arms and take care of everyone we can. Next, it has also become painfully clear that we need to increase the amount of cash coming to families. We are asking you to stay home, help educate your kids, take care of others. We are going to send somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 to every adult. We are going to send an additional check for every child. We want to do this because we want to ensure that everyone can get through this together. This needs to be a moment in time, and we need to remove the stress of money. Now, let's be clear. My hope by sending this money out is you make sure there's food in the fridge. You make sure you take care of your shelter. You can pay your mortgage or pay your rent, whatever is there. This is not money to be used, in my hope, to go shop on Amazon for nice to haves. I would be very disappointed if folks took this opportunity and didn't spend this on necessities. If you don't need it, please save it or give it to someone that does. This is the time to help thy neighbor if you do not need it. Next, it is very clear that in some situations, unemployment and this additional money may be not enough. The federal government is actively working with financial institutions to get a 90-day waiver forbearance on credit card payments, mortgages, student loans, car loans, anything we can to help reduce the burden the next 90 days. We need you to stay at home, and we don't want you to think you're going to be insolvent. Just to be clear, none of this debt will be forgiven. Just the payment will be delayed. This is a time to make it easy for folks to stay home, not stress about money, and we're doing everything we can. Next, we are going to test. It is again very clear that one of the things we must do is find out where this thing is. We are going to ask lots of people to take tests. You may be asked to take the test multiple times over the next couple of months. We are actively building hundreds, if not thousands, of staging centers, drive-through centers to go take these tests. As someone who has taken it, I can tell you firsthand it is not pleasant, but it is something we must do. We must find out who has it. We must isolate and take care of them, and we must stop the continued spread of this thing. For the young people, there is a lot of messages about you being invincible. But when we look at the data of the folks in the emergency rooms, you're not bulletproof. Somewhere between 30 and 40% of the folks are under 40. And yes, that includes you. Yes, you need to take care. Yes, you need to stop bringing it home to mom, dad, grandma, neighbor also. Stay home. Lastly, I don't want anybody to be confused. We are going to have to save some companies and some industries. I will not allow anybody to call this a bailout. I am thinking about you. What we are going to do for critical industries that are important to the American economy is we are absolutely going to save them. But what we are going to do is we are going to take an equity position. We are going to buy low and sell high. One of the ways that we are going to pay for this once-in-a-lifetime event is we are going to invest in American companies, just like every American has the opportunity to do. We are not going to get special treatment. We are not going to wash out common stock. We do not want to hurt Americans anymore. But we have the biggest checkbook. We are going to invest in the companies we deem critical, and we are going to save them. And then in the years to come, 5, 10, 20 years down the line, we are going to liquidate our positions. We are going to recognize a huge profit, and we are going to put this towards the national debt. To be clear, we don't have all the rules lined up, who gets saved, who doesn't. There will be plenty of bankruptcies, but we have to save some of these American economies or American companies. There's national security reasons. There are things that we just must do. And again, as I said earlier, this is a unique time. In the end, I needed to deliver this message to you, talk about the big components of what's going on, because it's time for honest discussion. This needs to be real talk. It can't be the left and the right. This is an extremely stressful time for you. It is an extremely stressful time for me. We are doing what we can. We are working 24/7. We have the smartest people working on a cure and a vaccine and treatment. We have the smartest people in the world working on how to mute the impact of this economic event, which is going to be probably more impactful, at least as far as number of people impacted, than this thing itself. In the end, as the President of the United States, I owed you this communication. Next week is going to be bad. But the beauty is, once we get through it, we can start climbing the hill, start getting back to normal. We are going to remove the stressors of money, both income and expense. Again, we will get through this together. Take care. God bless America, and have a wonderful evening.